Good morning and welcome to Butterfly Dreams Crochet and More. My name is Jeannie and today is April the 20th, 2023, and we're going to make day 58 granny square of the 100-day project. But before we get into making the square, let me welcome each and every one of y'all to the Crochet Oasis. I really appreciate every time you stop by and visit me in the Crochet Oasis. I really enjoy y'all coming in, having a seat, crocheting along with me, and taking time out of your day to even spend it with me. Thank you all so much. Whether you are new or returning, I appreciate you all the same. So, we're on day 58 of the 100-day project. I'm still using the peach as the center color, which I think is perfect. And we're still on the Awesome Aquarium hipster cotton yarn. When I start a skein, I get 9 squares out of it. And I usually do my videos with that same skein until we're done with it, and then we move on to another one. So, we're over halfway, y'all. Over halfway. I'm getting this done and out of the way this morning. I have had breakfast. I ate me some oatmeal and 1 slice of bacon cut in half. That way I'm not eating a lot of stuff that I don't need. The bacon. And I'm still drinking on my first cup of coffee. So, and I'm going to be honest, I was a little hesitant on using the peach. And this is the color sprout. The cotton sprout yarn from Premier. So, it matches up well with the hipster cotton. And also matches up good with the sugar wheel cotton from Hobby Lobby. They're all 3 weights and pretty much about the same size. So, that's one thing that you have to be mindful of and careful of, is not all 3s are true 3s and not all 4s are true 4s, and not all yarn can be used in the same project together. Just because it's labeled a 4 weight does not mean it's a true 4 weight. And if you add it into a project that you have a bigger 4 weight on, then it's going to end up getting your project to end up not looking good. You'll be able to tell that you used a smaller 4 weight yarn. And it could cause your project to be a little wonky on the sides. So it's good to use the same yarn in a project. You can use different yarns, make sure that they're about the same size weight though. Don't just go by the label. Oh, this is a 4 weight, so it'll work with this 4 weight yarn. Actually, do this. Take your yarns and lay them side by side and look at them and see, do they look almost the same? Like these are almost identical. So, yeah, that's how you determine. And I'll give you an example. Let me grab one and I will show you what I mean by not all 3s are 3s and not all 4s are 4s. And we'll pause here for a minute. Let me grab this other yarn. Okay, so what I got here is the cotton sprout, which is a 3 weight yarn. And here's the label for it, just so you can see. Let me get it to focus good. So this is the label, 230 yards, 210 meters, 100% cotton and 3-weight. This is Lime Brand Comfy Cotton, also labeled a 3-weight. Okay, there we go, a 3-weight. But look at the difference in the size comparison. See what I mean? This is a much thicker 3-weight than the cotton sprout is. So I wouldn't mix this with the cotton sprout. So that's how you determine whether or not the yarn that you have will work with the yarn, with another yarn that you want to use. And the same goes for the 4-weight yarns. So just compare the diameter, the thickness of the yarn, to what you're wanting to use it with, and see, will it work out. Because I don't know if you've noticed, some Red Heart Super Saver yarns, some of them are thinner than the others. Some of them feel a little thicker than the others. I've also gotten some Premier Basic yarn that is like that as well, where they're classified as a 4-weight, but they're not as thick as some of their other Premier Basic 4-weights. Not sure what happened. Maybe they did a little longer of a stretch process or something with the fibers, or I don't know. But I've also got some Premier DK cakes that are supposed to be a 2-weight, a 3-weight, but they are more of a 2. I'm actually working with one of those cakes now on a knitted side-to-side vest, which is a free pattern on Premier's website. It's knitted. I'm actually working that pattern up using one of those cakes, and it's more of a 2-weight than a 3, but it's labeled a 3-weight. It's actually thinner than this cotton yarn that I'm using. So just be mindful of that when you want to start a project and you want to add, we'll just say Premier Basics with Red Heart Super Saver, or Craft Smart from Michaels with Hobby Lobby yarn, or, you know, because the Craft Smart yarn from Michaels, to me, is a little on the thick side of a 4-weight. I love it. It's super soft. I love how it crochets. It's a really good economical acrylic, especially when you can find it on sale. So just keep that in mind. Same way with your hooks. If you start making a project with one hook, you don't want to change in the middle of the project and start using a different hook of the same size, because not all of the hooks are interchangeable together. And the only way to know which ones are, then you have to do a swatch with each hook. And you have to make sure that you are doing your best to keep your tension the same on both swatches, because your tension is your main factor in your projects. And tension is just how tight or loose you crochet. And if your stitches across the top is not symmetrical, like pretty much the same size, then you're adjusting your tension throughout your project. Those are just some little extras that when you're making a project, making a pattern from someone else, that you need to keep in mind. And know that, you know, if they recommend a 4-weight yarn of a specific brand that you don't have, and you say, well, I have a 4-weight yarn, so I can make it in that, you may have to make some adjustments to it, because your 4-weight may be a bigger 4-weight than what they used, or theirs may be bigger than what you're using. So you may have to make adjustments to make it a little bit smaller or larger, depending on how thick your 4-weight yarn is, because you don't know. And that's why most patterns give a gauge, a swatch that you make, and you do a 4x4 gauge to test your yarn and your hook. And then if you grab a 4-weight yarn, you do the test swatch, and you're, just say you use a 5.5 millimeter hook that the pattern calls for, and your swatch is off, it's too big. It's not that the hook size is the problem. The yarn thickness is the problem. So you would go down a hook size and redo the swatch and see do you come up with the right measurements. And a swatch is normally worked in a 4x4. To get gauge, you do a 4" by 4", and you would work up a swatch and measure across 4 inches and see how many stitches it takes. Like right here, for example, let me get this to focus. Like right here, it says 16 single crochets, 18 rows. It gives you 4x4. So if you did 20 single crochets across, you would measure 16, and you should get 4 inches using a 5 millimeter crochet hook with a 3-weight yarn. Now, well, with this yarn. And if you was using the cotton sprout yarn for a pattern, and you did not come up with that with the 5 millimeter hook, and it became bigger than the swatch, then the gauge says it should be, then you would go down a hook size, because the 3-weight that you're using may be thicker than the 3-weight that they used. Does that make sense? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, we were done. I'm fixing to add another row. Oh, let me. Come on. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we were done, wasn't we? We were. So yeah, just keep that in mind. If you have a pattern that calls for a 3-weight yarn, and you say, well, I have all this cotton sprout, I want to use it up, it's a 3-weight, then you want to make sure that you follow the gauge on here and do a swatch. In single crochets, you're going to do at least 16 singles and 18 rows. And you should have a 4x4 swatch. But if your swatch does not come out according to the gauge on the paper, and it's bigger, your yarn is thicker than what they used, not a problem. Go down a hook size, redo your swatch, and see how close you come to the gauge. Like this is a 4.0, I would try 3.5 next and see, do I get the gauge? And if I don't get it on that, I would go down to a 3.25. And if I get it on that, then hey, I know I can make that pattern with my 3.25 crochet hook and make it a size appropriate based on the pattern and the yarn that I chose. So that is why a gauge is very important. Why you do your swatch and you test your gauge before you start a pattern. All right, we are done with day 58. Right here. I hope y'all enjoyed watching me finish this one off. I was fixing to add another row, just talking and crocheting. We get carried away sometimes, don't we? All right, thank y'all all so much for stopping by and watching my video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you don't mind. And if you hadn't hit that subscribe button, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Turn your post notification bell to all. And that way YouTube will notify you when I release a new video. Until next time, be kind. Remember to smile. I love you all. And I will see y'all in the next video. Bye for now.